Guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a review on Veeda their primer, their adhesion tape, two-sided adhesion tape, and I'm using it on my practice hand. They do have their own practice hand, but I'm not quite ready for that yet, so I'm going ahead with the one that I have now. It comes with the care card to tell you how to prep your practice hand. So you want to size your tips properly so that they fit the nail bed. So that will be your quote-unquote nail bed, and the primer helps the nail tip adhere to the practice hand because you'll use regular nail glue to adhere it to there, and then you'll use the two-sided tape to adhere like a tip on top of that, so that you'll be able to switch them out and you'll still have a nice nail bed for your practice hand. So here I am just going ahead and sizing the tips for each nail bed, and now I'm using the practice hand primer and applying a thin coat to each nail bed. So next it said add 1 drop of glue, and then into the nail pocket put that nail bed in there and hold it for about 15 seconds. So I'm going ahead to do that process now, and I actually put the glue on the nail tip instead of the actual practice hand. But I think if you would have put it on the actual practice hand, I don't think it really would have made a difference, but that was just my preferred method. For this particular nail, I did not push it back far enough, so you will see it kind of sticking out a little bit there. But usually you do want to push it further back so that the tip, the little wheel area, would not be sticking out of the practice hand's cuticle area. Now on their website, they do actually have the practice tips, practice hand, practice fingers. I will definitely link those down in the description below. Eventually I will be purchasing an actual practice hand, but this is one that I had and I got from Amazon. So I just wanted to go ahead and try everything on this first, and then eventually I will be purchasing a new practice hand from Veeda. And Veeda's brand is with V Nailed It. This is her brand, and her practice hand has multiple skin tones, anything that you want when it comes to practice hands, and she actually uses the practice hand in her own YouTube videos. So I will make sure I link her down below as well. So next I would take the tips. This the one I told you I forgot to push it back farther enough so that the tip wouldn't kind of stick out there, but I'll work on that. So next you would go ahead and size the tip that you would put on the nail so that you can practice on that tip. So I go ahead and I size those out first. So that's how it's supposed to go in there, and then once I figure out those sizes, then you would take some scissors and the two-sided tape that they have on their website, and you would put that like in between the quote-unquote nail bed and nail tip so that it can stick. In this, you get a lot of tape on this roll, so and it doesn't take a whole lot to adhere your nail tip to your practice hand. So on her video, she shows that she uses a small piece in like a diamond shape, kind of a little bit smaller than the tip itself. And she would cut a little piece off. Like this one was a little bit too big, but I do make them a little bit smaller as I go along, because I'm learning how to use this just as much as you guys are watching. So what I did was I went ahead and just cut the pieces for the nail, and I went ahead and cut them. And these are easy to take off. Like the top piece was a little bit easier once I figured out how to do it. Now that the tape is off, then you'll go ahead and put the tip on. I had to open that area up because it had glue on it. And then you would press it down. So then I go ahead and repeat that for all the rest of the nails as well. When you see me go through with the orange stick, like I said, the glue was kind of sticking and wasn't allowing me to put the tip under there, so I just had to kind of rig it and get it together. And as you can see, you can pull it right off like once you're done, doing your practicing. And you can use these with your practice hand, and you can do it with acrylic gel. And once you're done, you can just pull them and pop them right off. And this is why I'm glad I am using it on this practice hand and not the Veeda Bella one, because that one's a little bit more expensive but higher quality. And I would like to learn all my tips and tricks on this one before I bought the other one. Okay, so now that I've got all the tips on the practice hand, now I'm going in and picking your usual tips, and I will go ahead and pick my sizes and go ahead and glue them to my makeshift nail beds. And what I loved about this method and these products is I didn't struggle with having to worry about if the tips were going to slide off the hand, during like filing per se. I didn't have to struggle and where I have to hold the nail a specific kind of way in order to get, the nail tips to work right while I'm practicing. So I didn't have to go through all that. So now, as you see, I went ahead and glued on my tips. Now I'm going ahead and cut them down and then doing my shaping and filing. So now that I've cut down my tips and filed them, now I'm going in and blending the tip in with the nail bed and prepare it for application. So now I am going ahead with my acrylic application. And for these, I wanted to work on practicing not only my acrylic application one, I wanted to try out some 3D flowers with this, they call it 4D gel through Glitz Accessories and such. I'll make sure that I link their products down below. This was a pretty like bubblegum pink that I had from my previous acrylic subscription box, and I had never really used this color before, so I wanted to try these out. I did want to go in and kind of flash cure these because I am using my LED monomer, and that's why you'll see them under the LED lamp while I'm doing the the acrylic application on the nail tips. And another tip that I have when using this monomer is to try to keep your brush as dry as possible, because then that would help with the removing excess monomer like normal acrylic, so that when it is time to cure it, you won't have to cure it for a long period of time to make sure each layer is completed. I think at this point I was kind of being lazy with it instead of kind of going with each finger and curing as I go. I wanted to kind of flash cure them while I worked on the other fingers. but it still worked out in the end, that's for sure. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and your notification bell. Thank you. So now I am going in and encapsulating the acrylic application with clear and building up my structure for the nail. And I think for this one, I'm actually going to go and work on each finger first, and then go ahead and, oh, I guess not. I was going to go and try to go through with the clear and do all the nails. But I think the main reason why I didn't do it that way is because I was nervous that since the acrylic hadn't set because it wasn't cured, that it may run out of place. So I think that's my main reason for trying to flash cure these nails while I did the acrylic application. So here you going in and see me filling in any dips that I may see during this acrylic application. I'll go ahead and fully cure that. So now that they're all fully cured, I'm going ahead and doing my filing, shaping, and buffing. But like I said, as you can see, I'm so used to holding the nail a certain way that I don't have to do that anymore. Now that I'm using the practice tape from Veeda, I can get used to not having to hold my fingernail tip just so that it won't slide out of the canal of the practice hand. I don't have to do that. Now if you see me kind of pushing it back, it's because I was pulling too hard on the material of the practice hand, and it was kind of showing the tip, and I wasn't trying to do that. And of course, like I said, the quality of this practice hand does not compare to the quality of the Veeda practice hand, so I cannot wait until I get one, and I will definitely do a review on that as well. So now I am practicing French tips, French deep French. So this method I've seen before is called the X method. And I think what my issue is I wanted to try my best to get this smile line as straight as possible. And I've seen other nail techs like online, Instagram, TikTok, etc. on how they do it. And I just realized that everyone pretty much does it almost the same. They just have their own little tweaks and techniques that they do for them. So I definitely want to, like, once I really have my clientele build up, I want to be able to have them come to me and say, you know, I want this set, you know, or whatever the case may be. And I'm able to do that for them. And at least have the kind of guts, I guess, to challenge myself into doing something new. I think this was another lazy moment because I did have some white polish that I could have just used instead of like this little janky brush that I had. And there I am using the gel polish when I could have just did this like originally. But I did, like I said, I always, even when I don't want to practice, I still try to do something. And I think where I messed up on this one is, oh, there it is. Now that right there was my fault. That was user error. That was not because of the products. And I think also during this process, I did learn that you did have to try to get your lines, you know, matched up side by side. So originally when I looked at this, it looked like it was even, but then I had the nail kind of crooked, so it didn't turn out so even. And it's always good to have a nice cleanup brush, you know, on hand, because that will help you clean up those areas. So this one is a little bit wonky compared to the other one, but I'm going to continue to practice until I have reached the levels of perfection that I felt comfortable in doing this. Okay, so with this 4D gel, it allows you to do 3D nail art, and I didn't have a I do now, but I didn't at the time I did this video. I didn't have a silicone tool to use to kind of manipulate it, so I used like a silicone tool that's on that you would usually use to pick up gems and whatnot. And then I use that to figure it out. I will be doing another video in the future of me practicing this again with actual silicone tool. This is more of a wax tool. And I'm trying to get like these little flower petals going. So in between each petal, then I'll go ahead and cure it under the lamp. Just do like a flash cure. Not that it will move around or anything like that, but I just wanted to kind of get into the habit of flash curing it. As you can see, I'm using the tip of a orange stick to kind of give the green petals or green leaves those little indentations to kind of give it that leaf look. And mind you, I think this is probably the second time I've actually done this, but I'm going to continue to practice and work out what to do, what not to do, and things of that nature. I found using the cuticle pusher, the flat end, did help to kind of thin it out and give it that leaf look. So with this one, I kind of just went with the flow, and what I was trying to do was kind of like pre-flatten the petals on my finger, and then kind of stick them where I want them to be. In some ways it worked, in some ways it didn't work because it kind of kept moving around. So I ended up making like this huge 3D flower on this, and I just kept going with it. A lot of times when I am doing nail art or practicing or whatnot, it's never really like an idea. I never really have a specific idea. I kind of like, oh, let me do this, and when you see it on the video, that's when I decided to do it. So now that I have cured the 3D flowers, I go in with my favorite top coat, which from my local nail supply store. Cure that for a full 60 seconds. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments, or if you have any suggestions for any other videos, or any tips and tricks when it comes to French tip application, 3D art application, acrylic application. Like, I'm open for all types of help. Like I said, we're learning this together, and if there's anything that I can do better or anything I can help someone else with, please definitely let me know down in the comments. Bye.